And we're live!
Yeah.
Sorry about the ear rape right there. Alrighty, so on the last time you heard a podcast Legend Killers, we had the curtain call, which was supposed to be our very last podcast. Well, truth is, as Eddie Guerrero would say, I lied! Anyway, bad impressions aside, so when I heard that Becky Lynch versus Charlotte was happening this week, I thought to myself, I might just tune into SmackDown this week, and and I might even take it one step further and bring back my old podcast co-host. Everybody, welcome John Escare. John, do you have any words?
Uh, I don't know if it's good to be back. It's good
Good to be back. All right, that's all we need. Um, Alrighty, so keep in mind I haven't watched WWE in general for about a good 3 to 4 weeks, somewhere around that period. So my observations may be a little bit rusty, just so people are aware. Alrighty, so let's get into Raw. Do you want to talk about Raw, John?
yeah, I'll start it off. There were some good things out of it, some bad things, so like always. Mostly
Hmm.
bad. Um, but I'll start off with the good things. So we got Elias and Seth Rollins feud, which is not too bad actually. I kind of like it.
Really?
Um, it's okay. It's not bad.
Okay.
It's something entertaining at least compared to Jinder Mahal and Roman Reigns and the
Hmm.
Ronda and Nia Jax. It's just kind of they had Sami Zayn and Bobby Lashley. That's not going well.
I
About a
see.
sisters feud. Um,
I've heard about this. I've only seen the segment where Bobby Lashley was talking about his sisters, and then I also remember Sami Zayn going "Holy Sisters" or something like that. That's all I know about that feud. Sorry, go on.
they brought out male fake sisters and
Me-
Bobby Lashley beat them up.
Of course they did.
Um, it's I don't understand what it is. But this week Roman or not Roman, Rollins and Elias like kind of had a standoff in the ring with weapons of the guitar and a chair, and because the week before Rollins got hit by a guitar by Elias, and it was a pretty good shot. It's probably one of his best guitar shots, except Finn Balor probably was the best one. That
Yeah,
was
that was.
completely brutal.
So,
Um,
oops, sorry, excuse me. How long has this feud been going on?
I think maybe like 2 or 3 weeks.
2 to 3 weeks.
So
Hmm.
it's been like kind of building up over time, but
Gotcha.
now it's like a full blown feud,
Hmm.
and so they're gonna have an IC title match on whenever Money in the Bank is. I think it's next week or the week after that,
Hmm.
but it seems it won't be disappointing. They're both really good, and it seems kind of interesting. The only thing that's
Hmm.
kind of like had a build up to it, um, and then they had like the Ronda and Naya with Natalia in the middle of it, kind of like always. They were literally fighting for her friendship, basically.
For
They're like,
Natalia's friendship?
yeah, because like they had a match,
Man,
Natalia
son.
versus Naya, and
Alright.
Naya apparently injured Natalia, and then um, after that, they tried. Ronda like got in Naya's face like, "Hey, you hurt my friend," and Naya's like, "That's my friend too." And then they literally fought like just arguing with each other, and even backstage too, saying like, "Hey, that's my friend. I'll help." No, that's my friend. I'll help. Go away. You ruin everything. They were like
So,
two children fighting over a teddy bear.
It's
Um,
my teddy bear.
yeah, so I don't understand that.
I
And
see
then
that not much has changed. Okay.
Natalia's like, "You're both my friends," and it's like 5-year-old storyline.
Okay. Alright, so
And
that sounds unappealing.
yes, and then there was Kurt Hawkins randomly, um, saying that he'll get everybody free tacos if he wins, and it was his like 199
Uh-huh.
streak, and there was like a jobber guy, except he beat him, and so now he's 200 and 0.
Two
Or
the local guy beat him?
yes,
Okay.
and
Well,
then
this
he
one
got mad or something.
okay.
So it's pretty stupid. Um, and then Baron Corbin was like going at what do you call it? Kurt Angle saying that he gives everybody chances except him. So just complaining.
Okay.
And I think Baron Corbin came up and beat up Kurt Hawkins and threw tacos at him, I think.
He threw tacos at him. Okay. It's probably the most entertaining
And
thing Baron Corbin's done.
then Braun Strowman went against Bobby Roode, which was not that great of a match. He had a better match with Finn Balor the week before. I thought that was a pretty good match, but this one was like kind of making Bobby Roode more of like just a little chicken because he kept running away from
Hmm.
uh, Braun, and then like they did like a thing where like it felt like some like Hulk thing, and uh,
He like smashed the ladder in half, right?
yeah,
Yeah, I saw that video
but
on Instagram.
I don't know what that was. And then that was that. And Braun just literally just squashed Bobby Roode after like 4 minutes or something. And then
Of course.
they had like a tag team battle royal with the Matt and Bray. Had a pretty good promo before they started, and then they did the battle royal where there was the revival team, the B team, Brazongo, the Ascension, Rhino and Heath, and Dolph and um, McIntyre, and then Dolph got thrown out right away, eliminating them from the battle royal.
Dolph got eliminated right away.
Yeah,
Why do I not sound? Why am I not surprised?
I think he
Um.
was eliminated by Tyler Breeze,
Hmm.
and then they just went in and they just beat up everybody, and then they left, and then one after another, and then the B team ended up winning.
The B team.
Um, yeah,
Hmm.
I think they beat. I forgot who the last one was.
Hmm.
It kind of just went off my mind.
So are
And
they like
then
okay? Are they like the
I
hot
think they're
guys
like
in wrestling right now?
faces.
The B team.
Yeah, they're like. I guess they're getting pushed right now because um, that's what they keep on winning. Like
Hmm.
shockingly, like they act like it's like a super surprise when they win.
I see.
Um, and then the Big Show came out to announce Special Olympic USA Games.
Didn't Finn Balor have an entrance with them?
Yeah, and then
Right.
then it
I
led
thought that
into
was
the
pretty cool.
entrance of Kevin Owens versus Balor, which was a pretty good match. It's not like
Ah,
they
okay. That sounds pretty good.
won't have won't have a bad match because they're good. I'm kind of
Hmm.
scattered. I know I'm going wrong order of the show, but I don't really care right now. But
It's
I'm trying to
fine.
remember what was better.
It's fine.
Um, and then Roman Reigns, I remember having a fight with Jinder again, and backstage, and it was again. I don't know what they're doing with this. And Lashley, I think, confronted Sami Zayn about calling him a liar and stuff, and that
Hmm.
was just amazing. And then they're gonna have a match at Money in the Bank.
Hmm. Alrighty.
And then it was Sasha Banks, Ember Moon, and Alexa Bliss versus the Riot Squad,
How was that
which
match?
was a weird. It was
It was weird.
it was weird because then Alexa Bliss just left halfway through the match, and then they got beat up, and then Bailey somehow came out and then beat up the Riot Squad, and got a pin and won
Hmm.
just randomly. Just came out and just
Alright.
won.
Sounds like a really confusing match. Oh, man.
Yeah, and that's like probably that was all Raw.
Alright.
It felt
Well,
like a million years.
yeah, it sounds like it was a long show with not too much good content. Um, so tell me, how was the Balor Strowman match last week? I didn't even know they
It's
had that
pretty
match.
good.
That's good.
Um, it was good. It's probably one of Braun's best matches he's had.
Gotcha.
Um, because of Balor and stuff, and
Hmm.
that stupid like thing where he runs like a football run and he
Oh,
charges
and
at
he just like
everybody.
tackles him.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
but Balor countered it with a sling blade, and it that was pretty good.
Hmm.
And then I think he threw Braun over like where the crowd was,
Oh,
and then
really?
they did some like, yeah, and then they did some like camera thing where like Balor's like all of a sudden Braun just rises behind him, and
Hmm.
then they start fighting again.
Gotcha. And how was the Balor and Kevin Owens match? Because from what I
It's good.
saw, Balor hit like a coup de grace from the ladder.
Yeah, yeah, the ladder.
Was that after the
I
match, or was the match no DQ, or?
I think it was disqualified.
Oh, okay.
Um, and then but they kept on fighting, and then Kevin Owens was gonna do a frog splash off the ladder, but he was like doing that thing where he's like afraid of jumping,
Okay. Okay.
and then Balor ended up getting up and pulling a sling blade or a sling blade, a coup de grace off the
Hmm.
ladder instead, and that looked pretty painful. And
Yeah.
and then they Balor got up and got the case.
Hmm. I see. So he did basically the same thing Joe did, or well, the same like
Yeah,
what do we call it? Fuck, I don't know. Spot Joe did where you get where you get the briefcase to end the show, that type of deal.
yeah, like they do
Hmm.
with everybody in the bank.
Gotcha. Alrighty. Well, alright. So let's get into SmackDown Live. So for my first time watching this back in about 3 weeks, the last episode I saw was a triple threat match with Cass, Joe, and Brian. Anyway, I don't know how long ago that was. Hell, could have been last week for all I fucking know. But um, I thought this week was a pretty good show. From what I've seen. So we start off the show with Carmella opening up a promo talking about Asuka. The one thing I wrote in my notes here as I was watching her, I thought I thought she's definitely gotten a lot more comfortable in her heel role than she has for the past year. Her voice is not as squeaky, but she still manages to retain that obnoxiousness about her. The constant scoffing, I love it. And there's a lot of antics in her. I love like the whole the snarky kind of laughing everything off, joking about everything kind of deal that she's got going on. I really like the character development that she has in her, to the point where she wasn't even scared of Asuka when she came out. She just kind of shrugged her off, looked fearless. So, it was thumbs up for that. The two video packages of Asuka, I thought were pretty good. Even though we've seen that numerous times with Carmella's segments, I thought, yeah, okay, that I could get behind that. She got plenty of heat, and I love the narrative that they played. So Asuka comes out. She doesn't really say much. She's just her typical self. Before she could even speak, Sonya and Mandy come out to interrupt Asuka, and Mandy states that Asuka's a shadow, and then mentions her loss last week. Even though she lost, she still is close to beating Asuka. She wants a rematch. And long story short, she gets involved in a handicap match. So, anyway, before I go on, John, do you have any thoughts about this segment as a whole? What with Paige going out and all that stuff, or?
So far, I kind of like it. I think Carmel is doing a good job of,
Mm-hmm.
getting being like a just some like stuck up person
Yeah.
that it just kind of gets away with it,
Mm-hmm.
but ends up like acting like she did actually do everything, like all the work and stuff, and it
Mm-hmm.
makes you want to see her lose so a lot more than like it's better than not going. I don't care. I don't
Mm-hmm.
really care at all. It's good that they're you know making interest in the title,
Yeah.
and that you you want someone to beat her and be notorious. So
Mm-hmm.
I think she's doing a good job of doing that.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. She's really grown into that character you love to hate, and like, you know what I mean? Like she has that heel in her that's just so naturally hateable, and I think she's playing it to a T, honestly. Um, so yeah, getting on to that, let's get into the handicap match with Asuka versus Sonya and Mandy. So Asuka starts the offense, and then Asuka takes a lot of damage for about 70% of her match. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't write any real notes. Well, I didn't really write any highlights because I would say the commentary was a little bit more distracting. And I mean that. I don't mean that in a way to like negate the match. I mean that more as just Carmella hyping her up. I I was more interested in Carmella, and the thing is this is not like this did not feel any different from any other Asuka match since her like matches on the main roster, besides like a selection of few, like her matches with Emma and her matches with Sasha. You know, everything else has been Asuka taking about 70% of the match being like beaten up. And I don't know if that's just me or if, but I feel like the something about the psychology of her main roster matches just don't translate as well as they did because as well as they did when she was in NXT, because the psychology is so much more different, and I can't put my finger on it. I don't know. John, how did you feel about this match? Did you like it? Did you have anything?
Um, it was like it was mostly I think about Carmella, about like
Mm,
her taunting and stuff the whole time and talking
yeah.
trash, and then she ended up trying to interfere with him,
Mm,
with Asuka, but Asuka. It's also kind of about Asuka as well because it shows her ability to pull anything off, even
mm,
though the distraction, even though the 2-on-1, she still ended up pulling the win,
mm,
which made her look really strong and stuff.
mm.
Um, but I think it was okay. Um, I want to see what happens in Money in the Bank, which I think that's the point.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think in terms of hyping it, I think it did make for a good build. Like you said, it was okay. Now that you mention all of that, um, I did like Carmella getting on the table and like taunting around. Um, But again, from the match standpoint itself, even though it falls as a small little scheme in the grand scheme of things, for lack of a better word. Um, yeah, I just feel like I don't know. The match could have been I don't know. The match could have presented itself better. Um, but again, it just falls. It just fell as a little plot device, so to speak, to push Asuka versus Carmella, which I'm fine with. So next we had Harper versus Carl Anderson. Um, so literally, I have 3 bullet points in my notes here. Harper roughs up Anderson. There's a vicious fallaway slam by Harper, and Anderson wins off of one schoolboy roll up. So, okay. Um, John, thoughts?
Um, it was just kind of there. They kind of just did like the slightest I think they did this with like the Usos too. The same exact thing where they like get beat up majority of match,
Uh,
but they randomly just pull up a random like victory over just like a roll up.
yeah,
But which kind of like if it's is like exactly what they did with the Usos, just meaning that it's so predictable that they're gonna lose that Money in the Bank. It's just like telling what's gonna happen.
yeah. By the way, shout out to Jamal on the chat room. Anyway, yeah, okay. I don't really have too much to say to this. So from the sounds of it, they're not being original here because they've done this with the Usos feud. I don't know. I just sounds like they could be building this better. All right, so next we got a Jimmy and Naomi promo, and I gotta ask you something. Did they finally get rid of those stupid word graphics? Because from the looks of yesterday, it was gone, and god damn, I'm glad that's gone. But are they gone for good, or have they been showing it lately?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't think they had it this week. I don't think so.
Hmm. That's good.
I don't think
Because,
they have it when when they're talking, but I think they still have that terrible graphic when they're like about to show someone, like where it says
oh,
like,
like their nameplate before?
yeah,
Okay.
which
Whatever.
still looks terrible, but
Yeah.
oh well.
Well, anyway, in any case, all this little backstage promo did was hype their match beforehand. Um, which now getting to we have Naomi and Jimmy Uso versus Lana and Aiden English. Um, okay, I thought it was a pretty good show. Pretty good match. I really enjoyed a lot of the psychology behind it. Aiden English. I wanted to talk about this. Aiden English singing a different flow this week than what I was used to. I thought, okay, I love that he's having such an expansion of flow, so he's not just rapping every week. He's not just doing the harmonizing every single week. Now he's doing a different flow from a different type of song or whatever, what have you. I'm loving this now, and he's now more over than ever. He does in this like hype man type role, and yeah, he is a hype man right now. But look, it could propel him to something bigger. At least I hope, so long as he evolves out of that role within the near future. But for right now, I'm really enjoying what they're doing with Aiden English. I'm glad he finally has his niche, and he's working well with Lana and the chemistry there. Which, by the way, did they suddenly drop the whole angle with Lana saying that Rusev needs to drop Aiden English, or did they ever
Yeah, they
confront
have.
that? They never like got back to that,
They
huh?
never. They just no. I think they just dropped it, which is good. I think because they realized that it's a stupid mistake to do that
Yeah,
because there is no Russo Day without English.
yeah,
Um, except now that he's kind of with Lana, it's like I hope they're not like giving up on Rusev.
yeah. I mean, Corey Graves did address them as Rusev Day, so I'm hoping that after this little mini feud is over, we get to see them just be together in one ring, I guess, which is
Yeah.
what I'm assuming, but who knows? Um, I do like the character work with Aiden English. I like that he's like singing while giving a headlock. He's like Rusev Day, like in the middle of it. I just thought that was enjoyable. A few spots that I wrote down here. I like the stereo step up enziguri by Jimmy and Naomi. I love the assisted Topekon Hilo dive. And yeah, oh, and then I love the finish of this match with Naomi getting that really high crossbody onto Aiden English, and then following that by a super kick from Jimmy Uso. I thought that was a pretty cool way to finish the match. John, do you remember any notes from this or anything you want to talk about from this match?
No, not really. Um, it was not bad. It was pretty good, I think. It's not boring, which is the best part about it.
Yeah.
But it really does show that I'm glad that Aiden, could do anything. That they're using his potential of kind of getting popularity to other stars like Lana that
Mm.
really needs it. Um, like he does a better job making her look good than herself. Um, which is uh kind of true.
Yeah.
And then of course the Uso or and Naomi are doing like their amazing spots like always, which
Mm.
they do some cool things always, like the diving and stuff, and um, English is just hilarious, especially whenever like he gets hit in the neck about his voice box, his
Yeah.
precious, his precious voice box.
Honestly, I love the chemistry between these four. They put on like a very interesting dynamic to the point where just like you can never really get tired of these four. So like and
They
I know
work
I
well
say that
together.
and I know I say that based off 1 week, but I really do like what they're doing. Um all right, so next we have the contract signing between AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura. I thought this was a pretty funny one, and I'm glad that they saved this for backstage because I'm trying to imagine this like in the middle of the ring, and all I could end up thinking to myself is like, what was even the point? So like I I really enjoyed that they put this backstage. That was a very NXT esque move right there. Um, so to put down the highlights here, AJ understands why Shinsuke Nakamura has snapped, and he says that it's because Shinsuke knows he can't beat AJ. So after that, Paige just tells him to sign the contract. AJ does so. Now Shinsuke, this is where it gets good. Shinsuke, he looks at the pen, he says it's out of ink, he shows it to Paige, then just chucks it out the way. And then he asks to borrow AJ's pen, he starts looking at his. And like for a comedically long time, AJ and Paige are just sitting there awkwardly looking at him. And Shinsuke says, your pen's broken, and just chucks his pen out the way too. So AJ gets frustrated. He starts yelling. He's like, "You want to start playing games? You want to start playing games?" And Paige is trying to calm him down with security right there. And AJ slaps Shinsuke in the face and just leaves. Shinsuke, he, he gets a pen from underneath his breast pocket, and he just laughs the whole situation off. And the entire time, I had to rewind this because I couldn't believe it. Or well, I could believe it, but I just had to make sure. Um, Paige is just seen like trying not to laugh at the whole thing, and it just I she could very easily be seen like trying not to corpse, and it's just the funniest thing. Um, I really enjoyed the segment. John, what are your thoughts?
No, I think it was funny. Just listening to Nakamura, he's such a good bad guy, like the funny, annoying bad guy. That's just like he doesn't care. He doesn't care, and
Yeah.
it's like it was just hilarious, and I would have just died if I was like Paige. I would have just started laughing.
You'd
Um,
probably have to
it
do a couple like double takes of that.
it it's good, and I like it. It was in backstage, so it's not like you can when it's like backstage, you kind of don't know what's gonna happen, and
Yeah.
usually it's like when it's in the ring, it usually ends like the same way it all does. Someone goes to the damn table or something like that. But
Yeah.
this one was so much better with Nakamura just being like a little kid uh, that hates someone, and AJ Styles just getting frustrated. It's like some dad or something.
Honestly,
Some like
it was
so
pretty funny, like seeing AJ
it
go
was
like,
funny.
"You want to play games?" I just, oh man, I couldn't help but laugh at the whole thing. Um, all right, so next we got my main event because this is really the only reason I tuned into this match or tuned into this episode, and that was Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. Um, I'll admit I kind of preferred their 2017 match just a little bit more than I did this one, but that is in no way trying to take away from this match. I thought this was really good regardless. I enjoyed the feeling out process of things. Goes to show how well they know each other. They go back and forth for about a good like 3 to 4 or 5, maybe 5 minutes max, and eventually Charlotte gets a Charlotte's Web on Becky, and we start hearing some "Let's Go Becky" chants. And I gotta ask you something before I get to this. So I saw this episode on the Hulu. I got the Hulu version of this. So I don't know if they changed or edited anything. I gotta ask you, how was the crowd during this match?
I think the crowd was pretty good. I
Hmm.
think because they were having a good match. They
Hmm.
probably it wasn't as loud as I thought it would be,
Hmm.
but it was pretty good. I thought the crowd was pretty good.
Gotcha. What about during their entrances? Because I noticed like during both of their entrances, the crowd was kind of silent. And was it any different on the TV version, live?
Yeah, I don't think because I think the then yeah, they got louder because they got better. I don't think they
Okay.
were expecting that much.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Alrighty. So we got a "Let's Go Becky" chance, and I'll be honest, I was really surprised when I heard like the Becky chants because again during the entrances they were really kind of silent. They were on their hands a little bit. But I'm glad that they
Especially
progressed.
Becky because she it's kind of like a big letdown what they've been doing to Becky
Um,
because she used to be like so good, but now
Now
it's just
she's just been out the way, huh?
yeah, she's been there.
Hmm. Yeah, I can imagine. And I like that a lot of people are saying like Becky should win the Money in the Bank, but we'll get to that later. So there was a spot, and I really enjoyed this because I don't think I've seen this. I've seen this in plenty of movies, but I don't think I've ever seen this in a wrestling match. So both of them get each other in a single leg, right? And they both have each other's legs, and you have that quote "let go of your weapon" unquote spot where like you see two bad guys holding a gun at each other, and then they both have to drop their weapon and all that stuff. And here they did that with each other's legs. The crowd didn't seem to react too much at first, but then after a little while they were kind of chanting, cheering, whatever. But they did that. I thought that was a pretty unique spot. I really liked it. Um, I don't know. I feel like they both came up with that together, and I was like, okay, cool. I'm glad. Like great minds. There was a double crossbody spot, and that left a commercial. After commercial, Becky has Charlotte in a hammerlock. There was some dueling chants for "Let's go Becky," "Let's go Charlotte." Um, I thought this was a really good match. The chops to Becky. Charlotte gets stiffer every single time, or not even stiff. I want to say she gets more snug every time I see her do those chops, and I love it. I love the backslide counter to a big boot, which I've seen that before plenty of times. After a little while, Charlotte's countering Becky. We see a flying forearm and a top rope leg drop by Becky, which I haven't seen that spot in a little while, so it's kind of cool to see. Becky attempts to disarm her after a quick little roll around between these two. Charlotte manages to spear Becky out of nowhere, and then we all see that followed by a top rope plancha. From here, Charlotte rolls Becky into the ring, goes for a moonsault. Becky gets the knees, which I thought this was good. I thought this was good because Charlotte took a little while to set up for the moonsault, and I think she took the perfect amounts of like length to be like, okay, Becky has to counter, and I think realistically that makes good for the psychology of the match, or that adds to the psychology of the match. So from here, I believe they're both down, but Charlotte manages to get the momentum on Becky and tries to go for a figure eight, and then Becky counters that into a disarmer, and then Charlotte taps, and I thought, okay, really good stuff. Um, and I love the storytelling after the match where the commentary was focusing a lot on Charlotte and her state of mind regarding the loss. And anyway, John, what were your thoughts on this match? Did you have any spots in mind that you really liked out of this? Um,
No, I liked the match. It was
mhm.
super good. Um, I like how they really did it where you make you feel like they know like they know everything about each other, so they know
Mhm.
how to counter each other. They know, and when they did the leg thing, it's like a full on standoff.
Yeah.
It's like they both thought of the same thing, and you know, it just shows how much how they know each other and how good they are together, and that they can pull off something really good. I think it was a good match. I didn't expect Becky to win though. I thought Charlotte was gonna win. Um, but that's a good little thing for Becky. Hopefully, this gives her some good you know momentum to keep going forward.
Yeah. Okay, so I would say the same thing. I really enjoyed all of this. I really enjoyed all of this. I don't think I would change a single thing about this match. Um, like you, I was really surprised to see Becky come out the winner here. Especially when you factor in, as you said, she's just been kind of there lately. But this was the same. This was the same shock I had when she beat Charlotte the year prior. So it is what it is. But I thought it was a really good match. Both times around, completely surprised the hell out of me. And I think that really goes to show just how well Becky fits into that underdog role. Um, so I hope going forward they capitalize on this momentum. Um, they both embrace after the match. So I feel like the psychology behind this loss had more to do with Charlotte's loss and state of mind. So I think they're going off that narrative here. Um, than it does Becky, but I hope I hope we're still getting some sort of storyline with Becky following not only this match but also following Money in the Bank. Um, Honestly though, I really did enjoy this. Yeah, so I'm glad Becky won. And alrighty, so let's get into the interview segment with Big Cass. Here he talks about his height, tells us his WrestleMania 30 experience and memories. He calls Daniel Bryan's victory a fluke, and he says a good man will always defeat a good little man. A good big man will always defeat a good little man. Which I thought it was funny because he calls Daniel Bryan's victory a fluke, and then he goes on to say something like this, which completely contradicts himself in a way if you think about it. Because if a good man will always beat a good little man, why didn't Big Cass win? So, you know what I mean? All he really did was leave himself room for insults. But anyway, After this, he also says Daniel Bryan has never been in the ring with anybody as big as me. He forgot about the Big Show and Mark Henry and the Great Khali and so many other people. So he also said Daniel Bryan has never been in the ring with anybody as educated as me. He forgot about John Cena. He forgot about... I don't even know anymore. He also said he's never been in the ring with a star of my magnitude, and he also said that Daniel Bryan has never been in the ring with somebody that holds a grudge like I do. Okay, fine. These last two lines, alright, I'll fudge on those because, look, you can, with the star of my magnitude line, you can point out whatever name you want. You could be like, Cass can easily counter that and say, yeah, well, he's not a star like I am. Okay, whatever. Gets cheap heat, but it works. Daniel Bryan never holds a grudge with... Fuck, whatever the line was about holding a grudge, alright, I'll fudge on that too, because... Fuck, for all we know, maybe he holds a grudge better than anybody else. Who knows? Maybe he holds a better grudge than the Grudge. But...
Wow.
I'm sorry. I just had to like plug that one in there. But look, the point is that was probably the best part of his promo, and I'm gonna be honest, that really wasn't that good on that part of that promo. After all of that, after that series of lines of Daniel Bryan has never, the promo fell all over the place because at some points he did some solid work, and then at other points he seemed really shaky after this. So honestly, I didn't really like this promo altogether. I didn't like how it was delivered, and I don't know. I feel like anybody else could have delivered this better. I feel like had he been feuding with Samoa Joe would easily have done a better job with this. But look, I'll give him an A for effort, an F for presentation. I'm sorry. All right, John. What were your thoughts on this? Did you like this?
It was kind of there. It, like, it made him just kind of be like hypocritical or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't really made him more like just a liar. If they're going like that kind of role, maybe it'll be kind of better. But it seems like they're not, and it's just like they're making just like they're like making a background for Big Cass that Big Cass doesn't even have.
Honestly.
Like they're making him like act like he is the best when he did all this, but he hasn't.
Yeah, he's just like
maybe if he had a bigger background, then maybe it would work.
honestly, yeah. I think for the narrative that they're going here, they probably should have waited till Big Cass was more established of a star. Um,
Especially there's no point when he lost anyways.
yeah, so it's like, again, this has just been a contradictory promo altogether, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't know, I feel like Big Cass got screwed out of this one, whoever wrote this promo for him. Also, another side note on this, what is the constant mention of Big Cass being educated? What is this? Is this a part of his character now? Is he, like... Because from what I know, he's just a big-ass man, 7 foot tall, and he mentions every now and again that he's educated. What is the purpose behind this?
How am I supposed to think that he's educated when he used to spell soft wrong?
he spent 3 years. He spent 3 years misspelling soft, and then hanging around Enzo Amore and saying all these ridiculous things. I completely forgot. How did I completely neglect that? Yeah. So that's even worse now. Now it should put that in consideration. But like again, like there really is no meaning behind this mention. I think you should get rid of it. I mean, Look, I
It's not
don't
like he
buy
went to Harvard or something.
honestly, if honestly, and look, what, just because he's wearing a suit every day is that what this is? So because he wears a suit every day, he has to mention he's educated? Like honestly, I don't understand this mention of Big Cass being educated. I don't see any point to it. Like, you know what I mean? Xavier Woods, when he was in NXT, he had that education. He had that as an aspect of his character. Um, and even he didn't mention, oh, I was educated like all the damn time. It was just something that was a passing mention every now and again. But with Big Cass, it just, I don't know. It's weird. Alrighty. So, any final thoughts on this promo? Have you spoken your piece or?
Um, this is probably it could have been better. Um, what do you call it? It was like kind of unneeded. Um, like all the other stuff, like saying he's educated and stuff.
Hmm.
And it was probably the lowest point of the show.
Hmm.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. I'll let you be the judge of that one. All right. So next we have an interview segment with Sin Cara, and this went into an explanation as to why Sin Cara hugged Andred Cien Almas last week, and he said that he's known Cien Almas since he was 14 years old. Which I like the good continuity on this. I like that they're just keeping up with the narrative. They're not just, you know, letting the segment happen with no explanation. Because when I did hear about Sin Cara giving a hug to Andred Cien Almas, I did think that was weird. But now with an explanation, I'm totally fine with it. Um, he says that after knowing Cien Almas for so long, something happened. And that's where it was Selena Vega's cue to interrupt, and she says that she was the best thing to ever happen to Cien, and so many things. Sin Cara calls her a liar in Spanish, and she's like, well, if that's the case, if I'm a liar, why did Cien request a match between you and him next week? And I I don't know what Sin Cara was going to say. I think he was just going to call her, going to say it was because of your bullshit or whatever. Of course, not in those exact words, because I don't think you can swear in Spanish on live TV. But anyway, jokes aside, um,
Yeah, he called him an acorn.
no comment.
Well,
Especially because I don't even know what the hell that's from. But
you
Cien
said it.
attacks. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You said that though.
I said that.
Yeah.
What? That someone was called an acorn or something?
You called someone an acorn.
Well, all right. You're gonna have to remind me after the show. uh, okay. Anyway, so Cien attacks Sin Cara from behind, and then he just starts yelling at him. And okay, so you could see this coming from a mile away, but I did enjoy it. However, and here's why: because look, they're giving a lot of. They're not overcomplicating this storyline. They're giving good explanation and good in-depth storytelling enough to where you get what's going on, and I think it's a good story that's going on right now. I like where they're going. And also because first off, for Cien's first feud, he's getting Sin Cara, and I get that Sin Cara's not the biggest name, but it's a good person. They're going to have a good match, first off. And two, Sin Cara could use a little bit of some screen time because he almost never got any, and that's exactly what SmackDown's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a good showcase for a lot of people, and I'm glad that they're using Sin Cara to his abilities, and I think it'll be a good match going on. I'm pretty sure the feud's gonna be short lived. It's not gonna be like, oh man, we're gonna talk about this for ages, but it will be something to start seeing off the right way. So, with that, we had the tag team main event, and I thought, Oh wait, I'm sorry. What were your thoughts on this segment, John?
It was good. Like it could like get you kind of like just like randomly could just be like thrown at you, but it works though. Like you can't say it doesn't because they tell you like what's up. They say that like they were friends and they known each other for a long time
Hmm.
and that like that you kind of want to think like what happened between them, so many years ago.
Hmm.
And the thing that like and you also think that like maybe the thing that changed him was Zelina Vega.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, yeah. So I would pretty much agree with all that. Um, I'm interested to see what happens next week. All right, so let's get into the main event here. So it was kind of a short match, unless they cut some stuff out. There was a lot of early double team work between the New Day onto the Miz. Miz and Xavier Woods start off the match. I really did like how this match progressed on. Like there was a lot of pace to pace, wall to wall action here. Kofi Kingston got a lot in here. Pretty much everyone played an instrumental role in this match. Kofi got a hot tag early on in this match. He looked like he was about to end the match quickly. Samoa Joe interrupts here. Rusev gets around, gives a roundhouse to Big E, and then after this, Joe tags in on Rusev and takes a Uranagi slam. And this is where I thought the finish was going to come in because I thought for sure Joe was going to bring back the Muscle Buster or he was going to hit Big E with the Coquina clutch, but instead he just goes for a pin. Xavier breaks that pin, and then Xavier sends Rusev out the way, and he goes for a Tope Con Hilo onto Rusev. Oh, and then at one point, Kofi hits this really cool dive spot. I'm not really sure what to call it, but like he comes out, he's outside of the apron. He springboards on the middle rope and just falls back flat onto Samoa Joe. And I thought that was the coolest thing I had seen in a while. And I know Kofi's been doing a lot of cool. He's been doing a lot of cool like springboard type spots lately. So really cool that he did that. Anyway, after this match, we get or after that spot, we get Joe putting Xavier Woods in the Coquina clutch outside the ring. Rusev hits the Machka kick to Kofi, and then it looked like Miz was about to finish the match, which I thought was kind of stupid that he just throws in um he brings in Miz and he brings in Joe and Rusev to hold him and just to throw pancakes in his face. Um because look, he had the match finished, and if you're a heel, you want to do anything to win. But instead, he got overzealous and he grabbed a plate of pancakes and mistakenly
hell
threw them
yeah.
on Joe and Rusev, which, for the intention of humor, was funny. But it plays a good narrative. Miz was not thinking correctly. Whatever. Still, I think that should have just been the finish, but instead, we get a senton plus a super kick by Rusev and Joe to Miz, and then we get the Midnight Hour, and then the New Day wins. So it was a short, but it was a good match. Really enjoyed it. John, what are your thoughts?
It was a good match. It kind of had like a thing where it was mostly between Miz and the New Day, because the
Hmm.
New Day's kind of been like messing with Miz, and it seemed like Miz got his emotions took over his actions,
Hmm.
where like he not didn't want just to beat him, he wanted to humiliate them, like they've been doing to him,
Gotcha.
and which kind of made sense with the pancake thing. He didn't just want to win; he wanted to really humiliate the New Day and kind of throw it back in their face.
Yeah.
But of course, it went wrong because doing kind of doing that, especially even in real life, it never works out. Letting
Yeah.
your emotions get the best of you,
Mm-hmm.
and that's basically what happened, and it screwed him over, and he ended up
Mm-hmm.
um, ruining it and getting himself even in a worse situation. And it also makes sense because Rusev and Sissy Joe are guys that don't care. They want to be, you know, they don't really care for too much of others. So it made sense that they just left
Mm-hmm.
and to let Miz deal with it because they don't really work together. They just kind of care for themselves more
Yeah.
than so they could care less if they got the job done. Unless it matters, like Money in the Bank, it's gonna matter. But
Mm-hmm.
that match really kind of didn't matter. So it gets the New Day win, um, and it shows that Miz is kind of like just spiraling down,
Yeah.
um, which kind of makes me think he might win Money
Mm-hmm.
in the Bank.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens.
Alrighty. So, with that being said, that's gonna recap SmackDown. Um, all right, let's get into Money in the Bank predictions. All right, so we got first on the card, Daniel Bryan and Big Cass. John, who do you have and why?
I feel like Big Cass is gonna win, sadly, um,
Y-
because they kind of been doing this thing where uh, Daniel Bryan's kind of been avoiding him and also kind of winning over Big Cass, and this kind of maybe pissed off him to the
mhm.
last straw, and so he's finally gonna do it and finally show everyone that he can actually pull a win, and
Mhm.
that he told everybody that um that Daniel Bryan was nothing, which I don't know what he's gonna do, but I feel like that's what they're gonna do.
Hmm. Alrighty, so I got pretty much the same prediction here. I got Big Cass winning. Um, I'm not really sure what. Hold on. Ahorita. So I don't really have too much. I don't really have too much to base this off of, other than the fact that Daniel Bryan lost the or won the first bout. So unless this is gonna be their big blow off, Big Cass is going here, and then that'll continue them for years to come. Fuck, hopefully not. But all right, so next we got Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn. Who do you got?
Bobby Lashley, because I guess that the bully is gonna get taught his lesson or something. Um,
Yeah.
Basically, that's like the only reason that's the match is happening.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, so Bobby Lashley, it's unanimous. All right, so here we got an interesting one here. Seth Rollins versus Elias. For me, I got Elias, and I'm gonna tell you why. First of all, this is Money in the Bank. Something's got to change, and I don't see the United States title changing. Which, by the way, is that even on the card?
No,
No,
I
of
don't
course.
know why not. Like they've kept Hardy off TV for like 2 weeks now.
Hmm. Dang, he might be injured. Who knows? Anyway, anyway, well, yeah, I got Elias, only because this is a big pay-per-view, and honestly, I've been hearing rumors that Seth Rollins is going to face Brock Lesnar, and I don't see them doing champion versus champion, although that would be pretty cool. Um, I'm gonna go with Elias here, only because Seth Rollins is going to fight for the Universal title come SummerSlam, which I hope to be the case, but could be wrong. Um, who do you have, John?
I have Seth Rollins winning. I
Seth
don't. I
Rollins.
don't see as much as I want Elias to win
Mm-hmm.
because I think Seth could go to bigger things. I don't think they're gonna want to pull the trigger on Elias, in my
Hmm.
opinion. As much as I hope it will.
Uh.
Um, I don't think so. If they do, hell yeah, that's good. Um, I don't know if they want to extend the feud. But I don't think since Seth has kind of been on a roll, I don't think he's gonna be stopped just yet.
Hmm. True. 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 Yeah. Plus, Seth is doing really hot right now. I think
He's probably the
losing.
hottest thing on Raw right now is
Hmm.
Seth.
Yeah. So I think losing to Elias, even in a dirty context, probably would thwart his momentum just a little bit. So yeah, you're right to pick Seth. I think.
And especially Seth has been saying like he doesn't care about money in the way he cares. He just cares about making the IC champion. That's all he cares about right now. He doesn't care about going to Money in the Bank and winning a contract. He even just said that he's gonna focus just on the Intercontinental
Hmm.
Championship.
Alrighty. Well then, with that, I guess it's too late to change my prediction. So,
We'll
all right.
see.
Yeah. All right. So, with that being said, we got the Bludgeon Brothers versus Gallows and Anderson. I'm gonna be honest, I don't care who the hell wins this one. Um, but seeing as the Bludgeon Brothers just won the titles, I'm gonna go with them. John, who you got and why?
Um, I have Blood Brothers just winning.
Hmm.
I don't. I want. I think they're gonna do a big build on the people gonna take the titles from them because they are such a dominant force that it's
Hmm.
not gonna just take you know a random shot opportunity is gonna take their titles. It's gonna be like a
Hmm.
feud that is gonna have a big build up, and that
Hmm.
their people are gonna they're probably it might be Gallows and Anderson,
Hmm. But not right
but
now.
it's not now.
Yeah.
It might be them later if they maybe have a loss after loss, but finally build up to win. But it's
Hmm.
gonna take a while. It's gonna take something.
Hmm. Yeah, I'll pretty much agree with that sentiment. They've been building the Bludgeon Brothers for a long time, since going back just a little bit before WrestleMania. So I think, yeah, in that regard, I agree that whoever is going to take them, it's going to be a higher profile feud than this. So maybe. By the way, has Sanity Day debuted yet?
No, I think they were supposed to debut, but they didn't. I
Okay,
don't know
well,
what's up with them.
hmm. Well, who knows? But maybe somewhere come SummerSlam time, or maybe just a little bit after, like say Survivor Series, after a few wins and feuds from both Bludgeon Brothers and Sanity, maybe that deal can go on and they could lose their titles there. But who knows? I'm not really sure what where you go right now with the Bludgeon Brothers following this, but I just know that they're not going to come out the losers here. And in the same regard that the club is not going to come out the winners here. All right. So with that being said, we got Roman Reigns versus Jinder Mahal, as Kurt Angle pronounced his name, Jinder Mahal. I don't really care one way or the other. Roman Reigns. John, who you got?
Uh, Roman, of course. Definitely a match that I'll probably do something else. So while that match is happening,
Yeah. Me too.
it's a time to get snacks.
Yeah. Fuck, I'm ordering my pizza.
Just do
Uh,
something else. Bathroom
mm,
break, getting snack break. Just just do something else. Take a break,
take a break.
and
Too
and
much
then come
wrestling.
back for the next match.
All right. So the next match we got Carmella versus Asuka. Now, here I'm gonna be honest. I don't know who to predict here because it's kind of a no-win situation here because you can't have Asuka lose 3-0 right now. And Carmella, if you have her lose, she's just gonna go down as a transitional champion. So it's like, which momentum do you value more right now? Um, I think I'm gonna go with Asuka here to come out the winner because I think out of the two, you gotta maintain Asuka's aura. Plus, Carmella isn't as hurt by this, although she still does go down in the record books as a transitional champion or is perceived as that now. But again, I'm going Asuka here. John, who you got and why?
Um, I have Asuka winning, but by disqualification or something. I
Hmm.
feel like Carmella's gonna do something to get out of it. So
Ah, okay, I
to
got you. You're
cheat her out.
sensing that old bullshit.
Yeah, that
Uh,
they might maybe keep the title on her
hmm.
to make it even better when she loses it.
Hmm.
Um, I don't think it's now. I think it's maybe further down the line. Maybe I don't know how long they want to keep it, but
Hmm.
her to keep it. But I don't think it's now that she's gonna get rid of it. It's definitely. I feel like it's gonna go. Something's gonna go up, where it's not gonna affect either person,
Hmm.
but also just it's gonna just build up what's gonna happen.
Hmm. All right. Well, hey, in that regard, I could see that happening where Carmella does some sort of fuckery and Asuka wins by DQ. Hell, probably even by countout for all we know. Um, but yeah. So hands down, we both got Asuka here. So now that leads us to the next women's match, women's championship match: Ronda Rousey versus Nia Jax. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know why this match is happening right now, seeing as it seemed like Ronda Rousey had a built-in feud with Natalia from the get-go, and plus you can easily just have Nia Jax face somebody else. All right. Look, I think I still stick by what I said when Ronda Rousey was just coming into WWE. She should have waited at least a year before challenging, or they should have waited at least a year. All right, sorry. Did my voice go out?
Yeah, dude.
All right, where was I at?
um, shoot. Oh, Nia and Ronda.
What was the last
And
thing I said, or what
like
was the last thing you heard me say?
about Ronda like having the feud with Natalia.
Okay, okay. So, like I said, she had a built-in feud with Natalia, and on top of that, um, Nia could have easily just challenged anybody else, and it still would have been kind of cool. Like if you have her challenge Sasha Banks. Well, we've fucking seen that a million times. Never mind. Well, look, you could have had a different feud for Nia. On top of that, um, I still stick by my guns that I believe that you should have had Ronda Rousey wait at least a year before challenging for the women's title. So the fact that they're going a month later, it's fucking great. Overall, I don't really. Hey man, did my voice go out again?
No, it did not.
Oh, okay, cool. Cause like I saw that my controller was disconnected, and I was just worried. But with that being said, I'm not really sure who to pick. Wrestling back and forth between these two, both to the head. I'm gonna go Nia Jax. Only cause she just won the title. So, all right. John, who you got and why?
I got Nia. Um, I think something's gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna be like a fair fight.
Mhm.
Um, maybe it's even Natalia butting in or something, or
Mhm.
even maybe a cash in or something. Something's gonna happen. I don't think it's. I don't think they're gonna put it on Ronda just
Mhm.
yet. Cause no way. If not, I'm gonna. I don't even know anymore. I lost all hope.
I lost all hope. I don't know. Yeah, all right. I'll say the same thing. Just I don't know. It's too early for Ronda right now. All right. So we got AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura in a last man standing match. And so many SJWs are gonna get on me for that, but sorry. Uh, John, who you got and why?
I think AJ's gonna win, even though I want Shinsuke to win, but I don't think they're gonna have uh Shinsuke gonna win. I think AJ's gonna pull it off.
Mm,
Um, maybe from all like the torment and stuff, he probably is gonna pull it off again, or something's gonna happen, or maybe even a cash in.
hmm,
Uh, I just feel like it's Nakamura's not gonna win.
hmm. You know what I'm predicting? I'm predicting they're both gonna hit each other in the nuts, and then they're both gonna lose to a double count out.
Somehow again.
Is that nutshot joke written done now? Are they done with the nuts stuff?
Oh, they haven't hit each other in the nuts for a while.
Damn.
Uh,
All right, so I'm
but
so just like most of
Nakamura
my
did
jokes,
like,
I'm like a month behind.
yeah, they haven't hit each other for a while.
All right. Well then, in that case, I'm going Shinsuke here only because I can see I don't know. I feel like this feud is going to continue at least one more pay-per-view, and I just kind of want to see Shinsuke win it. So I'm going a little bit off my emotions here, so which is kind of the stupid thing. I should not be doing this, but I'm going Shinsuke here. This is a risk I am willing to take. And if I win, I get nothing. But if I lose, I get nothing. So, whatever. Alright, so with that being said, we got the men's money in the bank. So here we're going to do it differently. We got a who I think pick and a wild card pick. So, John, who's your who I think and who's your wild card?
Uh, so like the wild card is like who I hope would win, or
Um,
what?
it's it could either be who you hope, who you least expect, or anything of that nature. It's kind of a combination of the two.
Here I'll do who I want and who I think.
All right.
Um, so like who I think is definitely someone from SmackDown. I think.
Mm.
Um, either the Miz. I see the Miz winning. Money in the Bank
Mm.
again. I think he's probably the best option.
Mm.
Um, but definitely someone from SmackDown or Joe. I think Joe could win it too.
Mm.
Um, both are more than qualified, and who I want to win is either Joe, Miz, or Rusev.
Mm.
As much, but Rusev's probably like the last person I think will win.
Mm.
I don't expect him winning. I think he probably like will probably do something like where they'll get it like how they like kind of want to chant the start like
Mm.
Rusev Day, but then he'll end up just getting smacked or something like they did in WrestleMania, where everybody's like wanting Rusev to win the U.S. title, and then Jinder Mahal just coming in and ruining it. Just Vince McMahon
Imagine.
going, "Screw you guys,
I'm going home. All
Rusev
right.
ain't winning this."
All right. So okay. So for my who I think, I'm going Samoa Joe here. Um, and for my wild card, I'm gonna pick whoever the New Day member is. All right. So here are my thoughts on all of this. All right. So why I think Samoa Joe? Because I think, look, he is somebody who's been hot right now. He's been winning on a hot streak lately. And I know when leading up to a pay per view, you kind of expect the other person to win because of WWE's reverse psychology nonsense. But I'm going Samoa Joe here because I think, honestly, besides The Miz, he's the best choice. Plus, everybody wants to see it. He's bringing in money. He's he's a good guy to have right now as a champion. So I'm going Joe here. Wild card here. I'm picking whoever the New Day member is because look, this is who I least expect to win, which is why I'm going with the New Day because first off, I'm hearing rumors Big E's getting a big push and really you can't go wrong with any one of these three because people like all three members of the New Day so much to the point that one of them could very well turn heel um that could lead to a New Day triple threat at WrestleMania for the WWE title, all that stuff. Or hell, you could just have a New Day triple threat, and that'll sell itself on its own. So either way, I think this is where the New Day breakup will eventually begin. And if it's not going to start by one of them costing the match, then it's going to start by one of them winning the match. That being said, looking at the other participants here, I don't think that any of them are going to win because first off, I don't see Bobby Roode. I don't see Bobby Roode winning. Braun Strowman does not need the win. Finn Balor, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure where he falls right now, but I can tell you right now he's not going to win. And as far as Kevin Owens goes, Kevin Owens, he would make a good heel, but it's not gonna happen with him either. Um, all right. As far as Rusev goes, I don't think WWE wants to push him, so I mean I could be wrong. And then who else am I missing here? Oh, that's pretty much Joe and New Day, huh?
Yeah, you said everybody.
Yeah. So yeah, that's really all I'm basing all this on. So could I be wrong? Absolutely. And I would hope if I'm wrong, it better be Bobby Roode, because that would mean Bobby Roode heel turn. But, I digress.
Do you think,
Alright,
I have one question for you. Do you think Nakamura and AJ are gonna close the show?
I don't think they will because Money in the Bank is usually Money in the Bank. But, I mean, they've closed the show with the WWE Championship before, so it's not incumbent upon them to have Money in the Bank close the show. So I could see it. I could see it.
Or do you think Jinder Mahal and Roman Reigns are gonna close it?
Okay, that's more likely. um, no, I mean, I'm going against my better judgment here. I don't think WWE would do that to us. Otherwise, unless they want us to like tune out early, then fine by all means. But no, I don't think they've built that match. That's another reason. I don't think they've built that match enough to close the show. And that doesn't mean I want them to build the match. I don't think that's worthy of closing the show, period. All right, so next we got Money in the Bank, the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Who I think in wild card, John. Who you got for both of your sections and why?
Huh. The women's kind of hard. I feel like someone from Raw is gonna win.
Hmm.
Um, Either Alexa Bliss is probably gonna win or something.
Hmm.
She's probably one of the better people, since she is a heel and stuff, and I think she'll be good with the briefcase, or Natalia going back to a heel, and kind of maybe interfering with Nia and Ronda, like maybe kind of joining in on the feud.
Mhm.
Um, I don't see. I think either of those two. I don't see Ember winning.
Mhm.
Since he just started on the main
Mhm.
roster, but who knows? And maybe Sasha could win. I could see like some. I just see usually. I feel like Alexa or Natalia are gonna win Money in the Bank.
Mhm. Okay.
That's that's kind
Oh,
of
sorry.
my feeling.
Yeah. All right. So, okay. So for my who I think it's gonna be Charlotte Flair, and I know that's not a popular choice in saying that right now, but given the narrative that they're playing with her and her mind state and WWE's reverse psychology stuff, I can easily see Charlotte Flair coming out the winner here. And, they're going to be like, oh, well, Charlotte Flair, this, and that. And on top of that, she can go back to being heel because, let's face it, it's inevitable that whoever wins Money in the Bank, they're always going to turn heel 100% of the time. It's It has not failed to happen since, and it probably won't fail to happen now. Um, so, look, Charlotte Flair, I'm going with that. Plus, she can go back to her heel self, so it works out. For my wild card, now you probably expect me to say Becky, but no, my wild card is Sasha Banks, and here's why. Sasha Banks, for the longest time, has been someone who's been in need of a heel turn. People have wanted a heel turn. Plus, her character right now is getting really stale. So, all that being said, this could do wonders for Sasha Banks right now. This could lead to her, imagine the promo Sasha Banks could cut right now. It would be very, very much, very similar to the stuff she would do in NXT. So it could pan out. Now, that being said, looking back at all the other candidates here, um, we have Natalia, Alexa Bliss, Becky Lynch, and what's the other name I'm missing here? Ember Moon. And am I missing two others? John, am I missing anyone else?
Wait, so who do you have? You have
So,
there's Ember Moon, there's Natalia, there's
Sh-
Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks,
Becky Lynch.
Charlotte, Becky Lynch. Who are the other two?
Yeah.
Oh my God, who the heck is in it? Oh, Lana. Lana's in it,
Lana. Okay, Lana
and
and
Naomi.
Naomi? Okay,
I think
yeah.
Naomi.
That makes sense. All right, so looking back at the other candidates, there's Becky Lynch, who I know everybody really wants to win. But look, she has that underdog thing going for her. I don't see WWE turning her, although I could be wrong. And because look, they've turned a lot of people I've never expected to turn heel. They've turned Roderick Strong, they've turned Shinsuke Nakamura, they've turned Sami Zayn. The list is endless with the people they've turned. So, I mean, I could be absolutely wrong in thinking that they won't turn Becky, but I just don't see her winning it and turning heel. Um, she might just be a mainstay as a babyface for a long time. That's just my guess, but hey. Um, Plus, you have Lana, who she's not going to win it. She's been gaining a lot of momentum lately, but I mean, there's really no reason for her right now to win it. It's just not her time. Naomi, same thing. It's just not her time. Um, Alexa has had her time for a really long time, and I think it's probably take a shot every time I say time, right? But I think it's time, for lack of a better word, that she let somebody else have some time to shine. God damn, I can't stop saying it now.
And but
Ember Moon
that's what
just
I feel like Alexa should not have it, but I feel like WWE would do that. Like that's who
yeah.
I think that's something they would do. They would just keep the championship on someone else.
Hmm. Honestly, they play it safe a little too much, probably with Alexa. Um. All right, so Ember Moon just started as well. So Natalia has been kind of a backdrop, but look, she actually falls third in my category of predictions in my ladder because especially when you have that feud with Ronda, they could end up feuding for the women's title, so I could see that happening as well. Um, all that being said, yeah, that's pretty much my reasons for Sashi Banks, and Charlotte Flair.
Sashi Banks.
Yeah, I started calling her that around 2016, and I don't even know why. I think it was because when you were starting to make the whole "I want a sody pop" joke, I started calling people Sashi Banks, AG Styles, Beanie Ambrose. I don't know. So anyway, that being said, that's going to conclude our podcast today. John, any do you have any buy or sells of the week?
No.
Of course. Good, because I don't either. All right, match recommendation of the week, John. Who you got?
Um, Kurt Hawkins versus Jobber.
All right, all right. For me, since I haven't watched wrestling in a cool minute, um,
Radical.
I'm trying to think. Did you just say radical? Um,
Yeah,
okay. All right.
doesn't say radical.
Well, hey, Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch this week. That's my pick of the week. Alrighty. Do we have any last things we want to say before we get on out here?
Make sure to play the saxophone.
Bye bye.